This is the Note Closer Show, where you get the latest developments in distressed note investing and learn the secrets of how you can control millions of dollars worth of property for pennies on the dollar. Get educated and entertained by someone who has closed thousands of deals and lives to support you in achieving the same. Now, here's your host, CEO of We Close Notes, Scott Carson.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to this episode of the Note Closure Show. As always, Scott Carson. Excited to be here and be your host today. I am so fired up for a variety of reasons. We have an amazing guest on today, and this is going to hit some nails on the head. If you're a realtor, a mortgage broker, you're an entrepreneur more than anything else out there, you're going to get some great nuggets from today's episode and our special guest today. She is a rock star who is actually kicking butt and taking names and helping a ton of entrepreneurs along their entrepreneurial journey with their marketing and systems that she puts in place for her multi-million-dollar real estate company. And I am excited to have the host of the Fired Up podcast, my friend Krista Mashore, joining us today. How's it going today, Krista?
Hi, Scott. Okay, I just want to tell you something right now. So I meet a lot of people, and I feel like you're my brother from another mother personality, and I just love you.
Well, I love you too. That's why I'm glad to have, because I think that's the thing. When you get excited about what you're doing, it comes through. You've got energy. I mean, every time I'm on the phone, it's just like, wow, I love it. It's just like, yes, keep rocking and rolling. The energy is contagious out there. And I bet when you walk in a room, you just light it up for everybody, right?
You know, it's so weird. Like, people will tell me, you have so much energy, and I haven't even said anything. And I'm like, I haven't said anything. And they're like, you do. I'm like, okay. And you know, the funny thing is, I don't drink caffeine, and I don't take anything. My friends at work, they're like, it used to be a sign, like, do not give Krista coffee, because I already have so much energy.
Same way here. People are like, what do you want? I'm like, it's all natural, everybody. It's all natural there. I don't need any drugs. I have enough of a good time as it is. But you've got 3 books. You've got a 4th one in the works that we'll get to later on. But you've got a great book called Sell 100 Homes, which I absolutely love. Sell 100 Homes a Year is a great one. There are so many amazing lessons in this. And then you've also got the book, Financially Independent, Retire Early book that you had come out as well. It was great stuff. I was just scanning through that as well too. But you have separated yourself from your competition relatively in a short period of time. What do you think has been the biggest catalyst to your success, besides your energy and your passion, of course? But what are some of the biggest things that's really helped you set yourself apart from the competition, and then also lead into you doing such a great job as being a coach for others?
Yeah, so basically, that's a great question. And, just to kind of give you a little bit of background, I've launched my coaching business about 2 years and 4 or 5 months ago. And we've brought that business from $0 to $7.4 million in 25 months using the strategy that I'm going to talk about right now. It's the exact same strategy that I teach my students from across the country. It's the strategy that I talk about in my new book that's going to be launching in April. The ultimate lead gen, the ultimate playbook for local professionals, that's coming out. You can actually get a copy of that on my website for free if people would like it. And they can just go to KristaMashore.com to download that before it even hits the market. But this is what also the same strategy that I've used to be in the top 1% of realtors nationwide for so many years. And I say that not to brag, but I say that because I want people to understand that it really, really works. And excuse me, in my first of all, I've always have hired really, really good coaches, right? I mean, I believe in coaching. I've spent well over, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars in my own personal coaching and development. In the past 30 days, I've spent around $16,000 on new coaches and programs and trainings. I mean, I believe in it, and that's what's really helped me to get where I'm at. And it's important. So here is the strategy. I like to date before I jump into bed, okay? And let me explain what I mean by that. Most entrepreneurs and most marketers, number one, they forget to identify who their client avatar is, who they really want to go after, or who they're trying to target. And sometimes they think that if they just go after everyone that, they have more of a chance. But quite frankly, you're still going to be referred to people and get recommendations. But when you specialize in niche with someone, they will find you as long as you're putting content out there correctly, right? Because when they're researching, they're looking for a specific thing. So you want to make sure that you niche. But then what people do is they market on the internet and they want people to download their thing or give them their information. So they put a lead magnet out there, they create a funnel, and they just say, give me your information, but they forget that they don't know who you are. And when I first started this, you know, roughly 28 months ago, the research showed that it takes about 11 or 12 times for somebody to finally click on you. Well, do you know that now that research shows that it takes 33 times for someone to click on you, right? Crazy, huh?
Yeah.
In just like 27 months. And the reason being is because there's so much, our attention is diverted and we don't trust anymore. And you're getting a million ads thrown at you everywhere you go. Like if you go onto Facebook, just scroll, every 3 or 4 scrolls is an ad. It's a sponsored ad, right? So people are getting, it's less and less likely they're going to want to click on you. So what I do is I first reach my audience by giving them as much information and value as possible. I mean, literally, if you read my book, it will tell you everything on exactly what to do, how to do it, correct?
That's the thing I love in there. You've got a spot in here, I think page 97, 60 plus ways that you're using to market. And I just chuckled about it because I guarantee 99% of the other realtors out there are doing the pure minimum to market, not going above and beyond like what you were outlining in your book here. And I love this because there's so many things that investors can use to market their properties or to market their deals as well, that you hit so many great things on here. So I don't mean to take away from what you're talking about, but
I love it.
Love it. I read the stuff you send me. It was nice. You sent me a nice note too as well there in the front, which is really
I know. I love that you read it. I know that you like education, so I thought, I'm going to send that to him. So, but what we have to do is we have to break down their barriers, get them to know us, like us, and trust us. So for example, I've sold over 2,000 homes in my career, you know, and in the past it took us, I think, like 19 months or so, not even that. We have 4 Two Comma Club awards, which means that we created a funnel that each funnel is worth over $1 million we made. So I really am a specialist in digital marketing. I understand it. I've studied it. I'm an expert. But if no one knows that I'm an expert, it doesn't make a difference, right? So I have to establish myself as the authority. I have to be, in order to be known, I have to be seen, I have to be heard, I have to be trusted, I have to get somebody to click. And the best way to do that is by actually giving information, giving value, and I do that through video content. Mm-hmm. Because when you do plenty of video, and I pay for ads, and I put ads out there, and I have the podcast, and we just market ourselves everywhere on YouTube, on Facebook, on all these different platforms. Before I ever ask anyone to click or anything, I'm just giving them value. I'm helping them. I'm answering questions. I'm showing them that I am the authority figure. Once they see me as the authority figure, then they'll know I'm an expert, right? So nobody wants to listen until you give them a reason to say, hey, that person knows what they're talking about. I want to learn more. But the best possible way to get into somebody's face is by giving as much value as possible, doing it through video, targeting them, retargeting them, and giving them relevant content that meets the needs in the situation that they're in when they're in it, and continuing to do it. Not just saying, hey, let's just jump into bed. Give me your name, your phone number, your email address. I want your information. No, you have to give them a reason first to want to give you their information. Once you develop a relationship with them and you break down their barrier and they trust you, then later on down your funnel, they're going to be much more likely to actually give you that information. And that's pretty much been the secret.
So the secret is not to be the Tinder of your thing, but more the Match.com or the
eHarmony. Yeah, don't be
eHarmony. Yes, there you go.
Everyone's swiping left, right, left. Everyone's swiping left. You want to swipe right, but it takes a little bit of time. That's exactly right.
Now, one of the great things that I love about what you said, and I was going to hit it, and you mentioned it about being the multi-comma club there, is having those funnels put in place. But you came back, you mentioned there knowing your avatar. So if you could, for our listeners out there, because I think you hit the nail right on the head, you need to know specifically down to the niche what your avatar is doing. What kind of, do you have an exercise or something that you work with your clients to help them identify that, to be very specific versus being so broad? I think, which I believe and agree with you is the death of any entrepreneur, trying to be too broad versus identifying your specific client.
Yeah, that's a good question. So think about, first of all, who exactly, and investors, just so you understand, like this works for you so well. I want you to think about this. There are people out there that do not want to, list their house. Maybe somebody passed away. Maybe they're hoarders and their house is a hot mess. Maybe they don't like people. Maybe they're afraid of the coronavirus. Like, I don't know. There's people out there that want to get rid of their homes and they are willing to not list with an agent, but they don't know who to go to unless you're the one that they see. And also a lot of these people are afraid of trusting, right? Like they're thinking, oh, they're just going to screw me over. They just want my money, blah, blah, blah. If you can show them that you really are there to help, and yeah, you know, give them their options. Hey, option one is that you list with me, and yes, you could have made more money but then you're going to have to go through all this process and get your house ready and do the marketing and let people in and blah, blah, blah. So give them their options, right? And then they will realize, hey, this person really, yeah, they're going to make money, but also it's going to help me too. And you can target them the exact same way. So think about, what are the problems? You know, if you've been an investor for a while, or even if you haven't, what are the issues that people are going to be going through, right? What are their concerns? How do you take them away from pain and move them more towards pleasure? And remember, marketing to people's pain will actually do better than marketing towards people's pleasure, because people want to get away from pain. That's why people are buying all these dieting exercises and taking these pills that will never work. How to lose 50 pounds in 5 days, you know, take this pill and it works. And people actually buy that stuff because they want to get out of pain, and they'll do anything to get out of it. Well, it's the same with your investor audience and the people that their client, right? Like identifying who they are, what their interests are, what their needs are, what their pains are, what their pleasures are, right? Where do they shop? Where do they hang out? How old are they? Are they married? Are they educated? Are they single, right? Really identify who that person is. And then once you know as much about your client as you can target those interests, those activities, those behaviors on the social media platforms, so you can directly target them. And when people are actually going to Google and to YouTube to look for information to solve their problems, right? The more content that you produce around that's meeting their needs, when they go do that search, your information is going to show up. And when you do it locally, it's a lot easier, because then you can do geo-targeted terms like, to solve your problem in Brentwood, California, 94513, right? And you mentioned that several times. You're going to be showing up through Google and YouTube through SEO by answering those problems, if that makes sense. So it's constantly video repurposing it.
Totally love it. I love, especially that was like one of the tricks that Gary Vaynerchuk did initially with Wine Library TVs. He ran Facebook ads. Hey, if you're a Princeton grad, you know, get this discount. Or hey, if you're a Columbia grad, it was the same discount across the board, but he was geo-specific to, or their interest specific, because he knew people from Ivy League schools usually make a little bit more money. They can afford some nicer wine, and it'd add value to that. But it's the same thing like you just said. Knowing I used a geo-targeting tool last weekend when I was in Orlando, literally from my phone. I was in Orlando at PodFest. I pulled it up and said, okay, if you're a podcaster, but you need help with monetization and marketing, and you're within a mile of this mile of the hotel. And I had about—
What is that? What is that? I don't know about that tool. So tell me.
Oh my gosh. If you just go to Instagram and post a picture, you can go back and run an ad to that to a specific audience, whether it's based on interests or within location. And you can either be where you're at, or you can identify a location. So one of the great things that I love doing is when there were big real estate events going on, not being all these cancellations lately, like if there's a Fortune Builders conference going on, I find the hotel that it was at, and then and figure out where the hotel is, run an ad. Hey, if you're an investor looking for deals to fix and flip, which a lot of people are doing, that was my keywords. And then I would just target people that were at that location, within a mile of that location, that had interest in real estate investing, rentals, fix and flips.
Okay, so you're just basically doing targeting on Instagram. Okay, there's like a different tool. I'm like, what are you talking about? Okay,
no, right.
That's exactly what Facebook, Instagram, all of them, right? You can target a specific area and run ads to it like crazy, you know? So, okay, gotcha. I love it. That's what we do.
But that's the thing is you knowing your specific audience, knowing one of the best things I've always heard of is imagining what you're doing on a daily basis. If your ideal avatar, or think of what your avatar is going through. What are they waking up? What are they doing? What's their journey? What's their commute? What's their job look like? When are they getting off? What are they dealing with at night? As a way to really help to hone in on, as you said, solving their pain issues. They're stuck in traffic for 45 minutes, or they're coming home and they're not making enough money, or their 401k is now a 101k, or their money's in a certificate of disappointment. You know what I mean?
Where do they hang out? What Facebook groups are they looking at? Who are they following? What are they watching? You know, what are they interested in? Where do they shop? Everything that you know, the more you know about them, the more that you can hone in on those specific interests. And then the nice thing is that, as you know, Scott, when you start marketing on these different platforms, you can start then telling the algorithm to find you more of people that are already engaging. And here's what most people do. they'll start using video and they'll start putting it on their Facebook page or their business page, but they don't run any ads behind it. They don't know how to market. They don't know how to actually target people. They don't know how to create lookalike audiences. They don't know how to retarget people. The key to marketing is once somebody does interact with you based on a specific ad, to continue to retarget those people and give them more of what they originally were interested in, because then they're going to keep on getting to know you and watching. So you can tell whether somebody's watched 10% of a video or 50% or the whole thing. If they're watching 75% of your video or 100%, they're interested in that topic. Yep. Right? You're not sitting there watching a video on, hey, how to sell your house without a realtor, unless they're interested in selling their house because they've got an issue. And you keep on giving them more of that content and targeting it, and then saying, hey, now download my free book. Boom, set up an appointment type of a thing, right? Sign up for this free evaluation of what your house is worth, kind of a deal. I mean, we have our students right now from across the country getting 10 people a day raising their hand saying, I want you to tell me what my house is worth, right? And that's a lot. And then we teach them, now that you have that, now how do you take that and knock their socks off, really, really wow them, go above and beyond, do what everyone else is not willing to do, right? Like I just wrote this book. It's called What to Expect. I didn't just write it. I've been writing it for a while, but it's called The Savvy Seller, What to Expect When Selling Your Deer Ridge and Shadow Lakes Home. Now this book, I've got one for East County. I just changed the title. One for East County, one that doesn't say anything at all. It just says what to expect when selling your home for the highest price and best terms. We then take this book and drop it off on somebody's porch now, right? Before our listing presentation. When somebody asks for a market analysis, I give them this book. I put it with the market analysis. Why? Because this book is showing that I'm the expert and they should hire me above anyone else because I utilize strategies and skills to get their home maximum exposure. Now imagine if you were to write a book on helping somebody sell their home that's in duress or distress without having to put it on the market. And you then become the expert authority. So they're more likely to want to work with you because they know, like, and trust you. Then you follow that up with an awesome campaign and sequence that's already done on a nice platform. And so it just goes out automatically. So you're staying top of mind awareness. Then they see you again on Facebook. You're targeting them on Facebook. You're giving them value and interest in videos. And I mean, blah, 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 right? It takes time for people to know you. Just like when you want to sleep with somebody or get married, you see them, you look at them on Facebook, on Instagram, then you text them, then you do FaceTime, then you meet for coffee, then you go to lunch, then you go to dinner, then you kiss, then you make out, then you get engaged, then you get married, then you sleep together, okay? It's not straight to the bed. That's my point. I mean, sometimes you're straight to bed. I get that. That's okay too. To each his own, but
that's not that. Those don't last very long. Those, you want customers that you repeat over and over again with business. Not, hey, try to get one time and it doesn't work out, and it's a one night stand.
A wham bam, thank you, ma'am. Like what stays in Vegas doesn't stay in Vegas when you take that stuff home with you. I mean, it's like, right? It doesn't work.
Hope you're loving this, everybody. Note Nation, I guarantee, is laughing right now and having a good time, which is a beautiful thing. It's what we want. Now, I love it that you geo-target specific things, and with your printing in either specific zip codes or communities and things like that, people could very easily do that on the note investing side of things, picking out your top 3 states or the bigger markets. If Ohio is a big state for you, then picking out Columbus and Cincinnati or Dayton, or some of those things, and creating a simple ebook or something like that talks about that market. 99% of what you have in your book is probably the same across the board, except you may tweak it up a little bit for that specific location, right, Krista?
Yeah, absolutely. And there's so much you could do. And I think that, the thing about most investors and most real estate agents, most lenders, and quite frankly, most professionals, they're taught how to do their profession, but they don't know how to market it and get the word out there, right? And so that's why, our students are so successful, and now we're launching to entrepreneurs and local and professionals. We're showing them exactly how to do this because there's such a need for it. No one knows how to market. And the reason why I wrote my 4th book is because everyone's like, how do you do that? Can you show me? Because they see me, and I'm just like, there's a huge need for this, right? And I think even now more than ever, with all that we have going on, with people not wanting to be out in public as much, and they're nervous about this coronavirus and where things are going to go, there is a real opportunity right now more than ever for professionals to learn how to market themselves online. Because what are people going to be doing now? They're going to be home more. They're on their computer more. They don't want to go out. But the world's not going to stop, and you still need to make money. People are still going to need to sell their homes. They're still going to need to get their taxes in. They're still going to need to go through divorce, whatever it might be. So now it's, how do I show myself as the local professional in this arena so people are still seeing me? So while when does the tiger strike? When does the lion strike? When everyone else is sleeping, right? When they strike the weak person, that's when the lion strikes. They go after the weak person, the slow person, the one that's sleeping and not aware. Your competitors right now are going to sleep. They are hiding. They are nervous. Now is more than ever when you need to be learning this type of stuff so that then you can continue to stay in business. And then when the market, the world goes back to normal, you have already made more of an impact while everyone else is just sitting there crawling under the bus.
I love it. You're hitting the nail on the head there for everybody out there. That's the big thing. While everybody else is panicking, remain calm and hone in on your resources. I mean, I look at this the same exact way. A lot of people are like, oh my God, I can't do it. I'm doubling down on the marketing because nobody else is doing anything. I want to make sure that I'm getting those podcast interviews, or I'm reaching out to the asset managers at banks, or I'm reaching out to investors who are nervous about seeing the stock market crash like it is. You know, there's a lot of things that you can be doing. And I'm not saying you're not taking advantage of the situation. You're just acting while others are sitting there being cattle. You're being the lion and going out there and learning and honing and using these as opportunities to springboard yourself here the second half of the year or the next 30, 60, 90 days. Right, Krista?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know, I mean, let me just say one more thing. I don't like to cuss, but don't be an a-hole, right? Be nice to people right now. I went to Costco and everyone's panicking and like people were so rude. And I'm thinking, come on, let's be kind to one another. Help. If you have 5 cases of toilet paper and you see somebody not having any, give them one. You know, give them one. It just be nice.
You know, I think I'm going to order toilet paper and give it out, send it out, but do the dollar bills on the toilet paper like I've done before.
Oh, have you done that?
I ordered a case of toilet paper that would look like $100 bills. So when they rolled it off, it looked like Benjamin's. I was like, hey, you're wiping your ass with $100 bills.
I love it. Okay, you're so funny.
Now, yeah. One of the things you talk about in your book too is designing your business around your ideal life. And I know a lot of people design their life around their business in the opposite side of things. You want to kind of touch base on that a little bit and what you've done to put your life first and around that, because I think it's such important things these days because we're overworked, you know, not getting things done, putting off our passions or things that really invigorate us and give us energy. What do you do?
You read the FIRE book too, huh?
I told you I did. Come on now.
Oh yeah, it's called FIRE. Financially Independent, Retire Early, Your Crappy Job Won't Quit Itself. And so, you know, I haven't even really done much with that one. I don't really market it very much, but it's it's a great book. I did it more for passionate reasons because it's not really my ideal client avatar, but I did it because so many people hate their jobs. I remember being at my best friend's house in North Carolina, and her husband was like, oh my God, I hate what I'm doing. It sucks so bad. And she's like, oh honey, don't worry. You only have 15 years left. And then after that, you can do what you want, but we need you to keep this job because it's super financially affordable, you know, for retirement. I was like, yeah. I love it. I was like, 15 effing years? Are you kidding? Why doesn't he just go shoot himself now? Pepper, no. Shoot himself now, right? Like a poor man. So that's what inspired me to write this book, because I believe that, you know, a person's biggest regret in life is not making a change when they still know that they can. Like when they don't make a change because they're afraid or fearful. And here's a really good example of that. When I wanted to go into coaching, you know, I used to be a teacher. I have a master's degree in curriculum and instruction, and I love teaching. Like when I teach people and help them spot, like I am the happiest that I've ever been. It feels like non-work to me. And I got into real estate, did really great, top 1%, you know, 18 years, 19 years. But I miss teaching so much. And so when I wanted to become a teacher, my husband was like, what? Like, are you sure? You know, oh my God, why, you know, you make $1 million plus a year as a real estate agent. Why would you, like, no one does that, Krista. People don't leave their career they're successful in to go do something else. My parents, who support me now like crazy, but they were like, no one's going to pay you to coach them. Like, what are you thinking? Don't be stupid, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh yeah. It's been hard, right? Getting my name out there, but I love what I do. And I'm able to help people now across the country. I'm helping, my goal now is to get people to be able to have more financial freedom, more time in life, and enjoy what they're doing again. And that's what I'm helping people do, right? And so I was able to design my life to where now my real estate company still operates, right? We've got like 21 listings right now. We're crushing it, but I only work on that business about 10% of the time. I'm the face of the company. I'm the one that does the videos. My team runs the ads, but I don't show up on the appointments. I don't talk to buyers or sellers ever, right? And we still, are on track to sell like over 100 homes this year. And so you need to be able, when you can operate your business where you don't have to always be there, it's a really, really nice thing. So with my coaching, I realized that how do I do something where I'm not doing it like sucking up all my time? So I've developed it to where I can coach from anywhere, right? I did an online training platform, and now I do group coaching. So I don't do one-on-one coaching, it's group coaching so that I can help more people, and also people learn from other people. Now, if I would have done one-on-one coaching, I wouldn't be able to, I don't have the bandwidth, right? So I really had to think about, what are my goals? Where do I want to be? How much time do I want to spend? And so I've developed it that way. You have to really think about that too. And don't underestimate what I'm talking about. Some of you are thinking right now, you're listening to this and you're going, oh, this won't work for me, for whether I'm, an investor or I'm an insurance agent or whatever you are. And I call BS. It works for any industry, anything, any entrepreneur, it works. But you need to understand the strategy behind what you're doing. And that's where most businesses fail. They don't understand the strategy. So we teach the strategy, and it's basically utilizing the videos, running the ads, getting them out there, which objective to run, how long, what to give people, how often. We teach them all of that. And it works because people are online. And if you look at the stats as far as why video is so successful, I mean, when a landing page that has a video on it has 800% more conversions than a landing page that doesn't, right? 64% according to Forbes of people say that a video helps them with their buying decision, their purchasing decision. If you're a product, you're a service, they're buying you. If they're 64% more likely to buy you, then why don't you start utilizing video? I mean, I can go on and on about these statistics. Now you're thinking, well, I hate doing video. I don't like the way I sound. I'm too fat. I'm too skinny. I've got a big nose. I got a small nose. I'm green. I'm purple, whatever it might be. Guess what? Not one person in the world likes to do video. You're weird if you do. Like out of 100 people, maybe 2 are comfortable. Believe it or not, even Scott and I, when we first started, we're not comfortable on our podcast. We're not comfortable on video. But just like riding a bike, just like kissing for the first time. The first time I ever kissed somebody, I was in junior high and I bit the guy's lip and they called me Bitey. I was called Bitey through junior high. Imagine that, 7th and 8th grade, right? Like, it was so embarrassing, but I still kiss now. I'm good at it now. I'm a rock star at kissing. But I didn't just stop doing it because I bit someone once. The point is that you can learn to do anything. We teach people of all shapes, sizes, colors, confident, non-confident, introverts, how to utilize video and how to do it comfortably. It's a process that can be taught. But even more importantly, and this is where most people make the mistake, is we teach them how now to take that video and actually properly distribute it so it gets seen. And I say this, you need to, the 8 C's, you need to commit to consistently producing content correctly. That's the word, correctly. If you can do this correctly, you're going to convert more clients because you're making a connection, right? So remember that, the C's, commit to consistently producing content. Go ahead.
The 8 C's of connectivity, or what's the?
I call it the full sales cycle, part of your sales cycle. The
8 C's of sales cycle?
Yeah, that's in the new book, the Ultimate Marketing Playbook.
You heard it here.
The whole book is basically written about, the whole purpose of that book is teaching people why most businesses fail, right? Because number 1, they don't do what I just said. Number 2, they don't look at, and here's the exact title. And again, you can go to my website, The Ultimate Marketing Playbook for Local Professionals. And that really means entrepreneurs, anybody. Take the guesswork out of marketing, maximize your profits, and become the authority in your profession. So I go over the 6 C's of the sales cycle, which means, the phases of the sales cycle and the 8 C's. So the sales cycle is basically marketing, right? And people think of marketing as, oh, marketing, it's my business card and my colors and my slogan. And I'm like, no, your marketing is who you're going after, who you're trying to attract, right? It's kind of like identifying your avatar, putting out content, and your marketing and your persona and all aspects of your business are basically, that's marketing, right? The second phase is lead generation. This is where most people spend most of their time, is leads. But they forget, but you properly market to people, then these leads are going to raise their hand and say, hey, I want to work with you, right? But then So that's the second phase. Then the third is lead nurture. Lead nurture is the most important aspect of the sales cycle, and also the most underworked by people, because everybody wants instant gratification. They want clients now. Lead nurture is the most important. That's when you give content, you give advice, you keep helping, you keep serving, you keep answering problems, you keep showing up, right, in multiple ways, so that they're actually going to take notice. And it takes time, right? So marketing, lead generation, lead nurture. If you lead nurture correctly, you're more likely to convert, right? Now you've gotten that lead. Now you're going to convert that lead. And how do we actually convert that lead? The more they've developed a relationship with you, again, it goes back to the 8 C's, right? Consistently producing content correctly. You're going to make a connection. So you're going to get more clients. You're going to convert, right? They're going to convert more if you've gotten that content out there the right way and you've really served those people. Now, the next phase is conversion. And keep in mind, conversion is easier when you've properly nurtured that lead, when you've properly marketed that lead, because remember, when you market correctly, the leads are raising their hand and saying, hey, I want you to give me more of what you have because you're meeting a need that I have, right? That's how you properly market to somebody. So then you get the lead, they get into your system, you've nurtured them correctly, continue to get them to know you, like you, and trust you, positioned yourself as an expert, given them what they want at the stage of the buying process where they're at, so it's relevant, so they're more likely to convert, and now they see you as the authority, so the conversion becomes much, much easier, okay? After the and there's a lot more involved in this in the book, so just know I'm just touching it very, very lightly, right? Then after the conversion method, then how do you make sure the next phase, which is fulfillment and delivery? How do you give them the best experience? How do you make them feel like they are Ritz-Carlton customers, right? Your fiduciary obligation is to give them the best process ever, okay? And you do that by going above and beyond, by making sure that, you know, you do things like give them this book, right? That's instead of just, that tells them anything and everything to expect. You have, you know, automatic updates that go out. You have great customer service, you know, blah, 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 blah. That's the next phase. Then after that is refer, retain, resell. And you do this by having rituals and routines. Now here's what most people think. Most professionals think, oh, I did such a great job. They love me and they're going to use me forever. They're always going to refer me. They're going to come back and work with me. Let me tell you, it's not true. I just bought a house a year and a half ago. Somebody wanted a recommendation for my blinds person who I loved, but she hit it, split it, quit it, and gone, right? Meaning kind of like jumping right into bed. She didn't continue to court me afterwards. And I don't have her contact information. I can't refer her. I don't remember who she was. I don't have her card. I don't have her email address. I can't even remember her name. And that's what happens. So you have to continue to stay top of mind awareness with your clients, with your customer. That's how committing to consistently producing content correctly, you're going to convert and make a connection. You're also going to get referred more. They're going to continue to do business with you because they have not forgotten about you. So this is a full circle, utilizing both of these strategies in your business over and over, rinsing and repeating.
Mm-hmm. That's one of the biggest things is people have a 10-minute attention span most of the time when they're onto something else. And if somebody else isn't in front of them with a video or an email, you should be. And that's one of the things, that's the thing that boggles my mind the most when I'm teaching or having a workshop. I can always tell who's going to do well in this business by who I get an email from within 48 hours. You know what I mean?
Really?
One of the things that I do is since we do everything online, people that come into my workshops, I'll just give them the list of the attendees. So it saves them to be able to focus more on learning versus trying around and grab business cards or contact information. Done this for years. And that was the thing I could always see. Only about 5% of people truly take action, but that 5% was 48 hours. And I would always put a fake email in there that wasn't my email in case they took me off the list so I could truly tell. And it was less than 5% of people would send a follow-up email in 48 hours, and even fewer will send a second or third one as follow-up. And that's what really I find is those that send on a consistent basis, whether it's an email or doing a video on a regular basis, those are the two biggest factors in the follow-up and the conversion of just staying top of mind, top of funnel when your audience or your investors or with us, our bankers, think of us when they have something comes across their books that they want to get rid of.
And remember too, it's not just email because only about 24% of emails get opened, but people are watching videos online like crazy. People are opening up text messages. Do you know that 94% of text messages get opened up within 5 minutes? 94% within 5 minutes. Imagine having a video email, a video text message on there, right? with relevant information. And then there's just so many things that you can do. It's unbelievable. But most people do not think about that aspect of the sales cycle. And that's where we have problems.
Yeah, that's the thing. They think about what the least they can do. And when somebody calls me, hey, what's the least I got to do? I say, well, you don't have to do anything. You know, you can just do sames and have the same type of results. But if you have a $10 mindset, you end up with a $10 bank account.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And that's the thing is going above and beyond, implementing these tools. Listen, I know it takes, it can be mind-boggling if you're brand new. The whole point is evolve. Do 1% a little bit more each day. You didn't get to where you were overnight, Krista. You took time, you got coaching, and you added a little bit here and there, correct?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I still do hire tons of coaches. And I mean, a good example is before I started, I wanted to do coaching 2 years prior to where I really started learning it the right way. And I hired the wrong coaches, and many times people, and you need to really be careful nowadays because there's this huge push for online education, and coaching is this like $22 billion business or something like that. It's like being pushed heavily. So what I'm finding is there's more and more people that are claiming to be experts who have never really done something, or they've just launched, or they couldn't succeed at what they were doing, so they became a teacher of it, right? And there's so many people out there like that. So make sure you hire somebody that's done it, that eats their own dog food, that has a proven track record to be able to help somebody. When I hired the right coach, I'd get him over $50,000, right, within a 2-year period. It's like more like $60,000 actually, but it was the best $60,000 I've ever spent because he helped me go from 0 to 7.4 million in 25 months, right? And that's pretty darn good. Whereas before I'd hired the wrong people, didn't invest in myself, and people think like, oh my God, you spent so much money in coaching. I'm like, did you not hear that I told you I made $7.4 million by hiring the right coach, implementing what he said, pushing through the overwhelm, making mistakes and changing and converting, not giving up too early, right? It's about all those things, but having the right coach and then putting that behind it with the right mindset. Like I'm a huge mindset coach as well. I teach a lot of mindset because if you can give people the whole blueprint of everything, but if their mind is not okay, you can't really help them at all. So that's been a huge component too.
Yeah. I'm a big believer that if you want to go from 100 grand to $1 million, you can't be doing the same activities. You've got to hire that person, and you've got to get your mind ready for that extra comma, that taking it to a different level. You've got to grow into that person. Thinking back over the years and all the different things that you've gotten coaching on or mindset, what's 1 or 2 things that really stand out the most that you believe made the biggest difference in your success?
One is just really, gosh, I'm a master of my mind. You don't know a lot about it, but I was that girl that was in juvenile hall, and I spent a year in a group home. I haven't lived at home since I was 13. I was in a foster home all through high school, and I have a great relationship with my family now, but we went through some really hard times. And so mastering your mindset, like I know that I'm the driver of my own ship, and that when things are happening that's bad or hard, because it does, when you're doing a business, things happen. It's difficult. There's things that don't work. But I know that when things aren't working, I know that I'm still pushing forward to get to my goal. It means I'm just a little bit closer. I have to just convert and change and go over, around, through, under. I'm really good at just knowing that, being conscious of what I'm saying to myself, what I'm thinking, what I'm doing, knowing that it's not about complaining about the problem, but always finding the solution. And believing, 100% believing, like I have a really strong belief that I'm the #1 trainer in the world, right? And I'm not now, but I am in my mind, okay? And I know I will be one day. And it's just a matter of, it takes a little bit of time to get there. And so, but I believe that even though all this craziness is happening, I'm still going to be okay. You have to have a really strong belief system in yourself. And that doesn't happen usually being alone. There's a study called Change or Die. And it's about, they took 2 groups of people that doctors told them that they were going to die if they did not change their lifestyle. I mean, literally they're going to die. If you don't stop, eating this way or drinking this way or eating too much alcohol or whatever it was, they were going to die. Well, after a year in one group of people, 90% of people went back to their original lifestyle and rather die than change. This just shows you how difficult it is to change and to get new habits. The other group, they had coaching, they had accountability, and they were around like-minded people that were learning and doing the same new strategies. And they had accountability, and they had somebody helping them get there. Out of that group, 80% of them were able to change after a year. which means you're 7 times more likely to be able to adjust your behavior, adjust your business, make the changes, change the habits if you have coaching, accountability, and the right people, a support system along with you. And I believe that so much, right? And also when you see other people breaking the 4-minute mile, right? Then all of a sudden they realize, oh my gosh, if Jack and Krista and Tom and Jill and Jody can do it, then I can do it too. And I think that's also what helps really being in a really good coaching program, is that you see other people can do it and you stop making the excuses. And, and it takes time, because we find that a lot of people, it takes sometimes even 6 months before they finally start really getting it and really realizing, man, I got to do this. And once they finally make that mental mind shift, like their business just starts to take off, right? After a few months, because this is a strategy that doesn't happen overnight, but it works as long as you stick to it and you're consistent.
Yeah, I'm a big believer. You've got to plant those seeds and then actually nurture those seeds and give them time to grow. Nothing happens overnight. Success doesn't happen immediately. You've got it. And that's the thing that I think that most people lack is patience. You got to have a little patience. And you hit the nail on the head. You got to believe in what you're doing. You believe you're the best one, even when if you're not, or starting off, that you can grow into that. I think I'll give it I had a chance to sit down with Damon John from the Shark Tank, and he said he's the token smart guy on the show, right? And he talks about when he was launching FUBU, he's waiting tables at Red Lobster during the day, at night, coming home at night and working on his product. And he says overnight success took him 8 years to do. Most people won't wait that long to get around to it. 90 days, 6 months, that's very short time frame when you think about things that are going on in our lives. I mean, look at how fast 2020 has gone by already. I mean, it's...
Seriously, I've been telling everyone, it's like you were worried about taking 6 months. Before you close your eyes, it's going to be Christmas again. I mean, this week, I'm telling you, I told my husband last night, I go, babe, I cannot believe it's Friday. I feel like it was a snap. I can't even... Time goes by, and people are afraid to invest. But here's what I'm going to tell you: making an investment in my person. And people are saying, "Well, you're saying that because you're a coach." Well, hell yeah, I am, because I know it works. But when you hire the right person, you invest. Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, he says this: there's 2 types of people. There's rich people and there's poor people. Poor people they spend their money on liabilities, right? They spend things that they can't really afford. They put debt on credit card for vacations and for bling and for cars. Rich people, they have debt as well, but they spend their debt on assets. Assets are coaching, helping themselves, business ideas, right? They invest in themselves. That's good debt, because that debt is going to turn into so much more money. It's impossible to think that you can learn a new skill and strategy on your own, and maybe you can. Oh, 1 second, okay? Sorry, my door is about to ring. I got a guy.
All right, so yeah, coaches are great. Mindset is so important, growing to that. Now, you've done an amazing job with your podcast too. Let's talk a little about that, how that's really helped you get the word out and what you're doing, and how has that helped you drive, potential coaching students and mentoring students to you to help you out there, or even with your client base. How's your podcast work for you, Krista?
Yeah, it's working great. It's called Fired Up with Krista Mashore, and we interview entrepreneurs. I do a ton of mindset. I give business strategies. It's working wonderful. I love it. I think that's also, a podcast for anybody in any industry is a great way to stand out, especially because it's so underutilized with local professionals and such. And they think they don't understand how it will work. But again, it's getting people to know you, like you, and trust you and see you as the expert. So any way that you can do any type of marketing creates your blue ocean. What I mean by that is if you're doing what everyone else is doing, that's a red ocean. There's lots of sharks. There's no fish. If you enter that waters, you're going to get eaten alive, right? But if you have a blue ocean where no one else is doing anything, that's your opportunity to strike gold.
That's such true. I love that. Yeah, figure out where the blue oceans are. Figure where people are at, where your clients are at, or what pains you can answer that nobody else is answering out there. And you'll have your blue ocean with plenty of opportunities and plenty of things that can come from that. Now, I love your podcast. I love your energy on it. You do such an amazing job with your guests and in delivering great content.
You were on there. People love you.
Oh, we had a great time. We had a great episode on there, definitely. One of the things that I love, though, is you've said something throughout that you're identifying multiple opportunities. I think we all believe, we're in real estate, but I think we're more so in the media and the marketing phase more than anything else.
Yep.
And you're leveraging the multiple levels of media up there. What's been the biggest surprise in somebody reaching out to you? What's been the biggest surprise from somebody hearing your podcast or watching your videos that really kind of surprised you as a response?
You know, I probably will tell you is that we picked up a client who was literally homeless, living in a motel.
Wow.
And she gave us her last $100 to do a challenge. I have a challenge. I'm working on right now for local professionals as well, actually. And she gave her last $100 to doing this challenge with us, based upon hearing, you know, my content that I got out there. And she's had the best year now that she's had in 5 years from investing that $100. I mean, imagine her best year ever in 5 years in real estate, which is very competitive. And it's because she was able, so that I think stands out to me. I was really proud of her for that. People are really nice. That's another thing. Like I have a lot of positive comments. I haven't gotten any real haters. Maybe I haven't. My team just doesn't tell me. I don't know. Like they probably, I tell them, don't tell me because I like everyone to like me. So please don't tell me when people hate me. You kind of shield me from all that stuff, you know?
Well, but that's the thing is you never know who's listening. And there's a lot of people out there that are going through tough times. It's not all rosy for everybody out there. And I think we're going to see some difficulties over the next 60, 90 days, people getting laid off. And the more we can help deliver, give them that content. I mean, that's the beautiful thing about podcasts. There's a lot of great stuff up there that you can learn and implement. And those that are hungry and are motivated, and I think that's part of what your success DNA has come from, is your past. You know, you were on your own. You had to take care of yourself and go out and prove people wrong. And, you know, I commend you for that. And for anybody that's listening that's going through a rough time right now, keep in mind, hey, just keep showing up. That's one of the big keys to success is consistency and playing full out all the time and not buying the excuses and the mind blocks we have. Because I have negative thoughts. I know, Krista, you get negative thoughts, and we just kind of push them to the side to go out and keep doing things, right?
You know, I teach a strategy, and I tell my students when I first, it's the mindset challenge. And because we don't realize how much negativity is constantly being thrown at us, right? You have between 70,000 and 80,000 thoughts a day. Mm-hmm. And media loves to show negative stuff to us because it sells, unfortunately. So think about how many times you put yourself down. You say negative content, things like, oh, I'm too busy. I'm too tired. I didn't get enough done. Oh, I'm not good at that. There's already a person doing that. It's too hard. It's too soft. I mean, whatever it is, right? That didn't sound good. But anyway, so I tell them to take a bracelet or a rubber band, put it on their wrist. And anytime they say a negative thought, anything at all, if you say, oh, I look fat today, or, oh, you know, my husband's an a-hole, or anything, right? I'm so tired. You recognize if it's not positive, and you snap the bracelet and you say, oh, I have plenty of energy. You restate the comment into a negative thing. Oh, I love my husband. He's the most amazing thing in the world. Oh, I'm great at marketing. I can learn this. Oh, that didn't work, but that just gives me more opportunities to figure out how. And what happens is you realize just how negative your thoughts are, how you're beating yourself up. And the more that you start to change your thought process, what you're saying to yourself, how you're thinking, success breeds success. Energy goes where focus flows. Your mind, the neurons in your mind do not know the difference between something that you are visually thinking about than doing. So if you can visually think about good things, visually see yourself succeeding, the mind's DNA is built to figure out how you can get there. That's why birds fly south. Their minds are instinctually built to help them last and live. We're the same. We're no different. And people might think that I'm corny sometimes with some of these things that I teach, but I'll have to tell you, it doesn't come from me. It comes from books like Cybergenetics, Dr. Maxwell Maltz. He's the creator of everything. It comes from Napoleon Hill, from Tony Robbins, all these great thought leaders that tell us scientific evidence proves that all of this stuff works. So the more that you can become the master of your mind, really take ownership of it. Get out of the blame game. It doesn't matter about your mama, daddy, whatever they did to you. It doesn't make a difference. You are the one responsible. Take extreme ownership of your life. You're responsible for making things work. Don't be a victim of your past. Don't be a victim of hating people and blaming people, because really it doesn't help you. It hurts you to do that. Get over it. Forgive people. Doesn't mean you have to say what they did is okay and that it's right, but you can forgive them so that way you yourself can succeed. All those things will help you be successful. And I just, you know, this bracelet trick, what happens is that after a while you start realizing, number one, how negative you are to yourself, how much you put yourself down. You wouldn't have any friends if you treated your friends the way you treat yourself. And then you start talking to yourself differently. Then you start showing up differently. then you're happier in your household. You're happier in life. People start noticing. They start being more attracted to you. Confidence, enthusiasm, happiness, it sells. That equates to more money. That equates to more positivity. And I want you to think about this if you're listening. When you are down or depressed or negative, you bring that into your home. Then that affects your relationship. Then that affects your children, right? Then your children see that as positive behavior. So now it's like this crazy negative spiral of life that people expect. Be change. What we find from a lot of our students, and they tell us all the time, is, hey, you've really helped my business more than anything, but gosh, you have changed my life. Like, I hear that all the time. You've changed my life. I'm more confident. I'm happier. People are losing weight, because it all starts with their head. And then give them the blueprint on how to be successful in business, then that comes so much more easily.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it, Krista. What's the best way for our listeners to get a hold of you, to reach out and connect with you, or find out more about all the awesome stuff that you're teaching and training people on?
Go to KristaMashore.com. That's KristaMashore.com. That's my website. You can also find out more going to the MashoreBlueprint.com/help, the MashoreBlueprint.com/help. But the website's great. You get a free copy of my new book, The Ultimate Lead Gen Playbook for Local Professionals. And that will help you out really, really well. You can download a PDF of it. The actual book, hardcover, is not ready yet. Won't be out until April or May. We're doing a book launch right now. And Scott, thank you so much for having me on, for your time. I always appreciate, being around you.
Yeah, same here, Krista. It's always an honor to have you. I love your energy. It is contagious for everybody out there. And if this is the first time you heard her, she is exactly this, 100 miles an hour every day. And exactly what she is, in a great way. So take her up on her opportunity, take her up and download that book, check it out there, listen to her podcast, go out and subscribe as well. And trust me, you will love it. It can be your daily little bit of motivation, get you rocking and rolling if you're feeling that negative. May not have to be self-inflicted pain, but the butt rubber band, hey, is not a bad way to do things there for you. So, Krista, thanks so much, and keep kicking ass and taking names, darling, all right?
Thanks, Scott. You guys are lucky to have him. He's such a good person. He's really true to all the things he says. He's got a good heart.
Right then. Thanks, Krista. All right, guys and gals, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of the Note Closure Show. Go out, take some action, and we'll see you all at the top, everybody. Bye.